Hey everyone, Couch Investor back on our Tesla weekly video for today. I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend so far. So we are nearing the earnings report. So of course, all of our assumptions should be answered in the coming days. There are lots of questions that have been asked during the quarter. Hopefully we'll get a lot of answers during the earnings report and the earnings call as well. I will try and cover it after the earnings call is done. But in this video, there is a lot of numbers out of China, some numbers out of the major markets in Europe as well, and then some exciting news with regards to some specific products that Tesla is offering. So, first thing is obviously the most exciting one, which is the Cyber Beer limited edition set. Of course, this is just a joke, but it's available on Tesla's website. But on a serious note, the 4680 cells, the ramp up here is now, well, it seems doing much better than previously feared. Tesla on X has announced that they just built their 20 millionth 4680 cells at Giga Texas. Now remember, 4 months ago, June 16, they said they produced their 10 millionth 4680 cells at Giga Texas, which means we are ramping up quite fast because it did take them 1 year and a half to go from 1 million to 10 million, then 4 months from 10 million to 20 million. So what's the next announcement going to be? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, this is going to be extremely crucial if we want to ramp up the production for the Cybertruck and then maybe go back to putting 4680 cells in the Model Ys. Remains to be seen, but this is definitely some good news that I would love to get more confirmation, more information during the earnings call. Now some even more exciting news, and that's from my favorite product that Tesla is offering, and that's the Tesla semi-truck. Of course, we've been very disappointed with the Tesla Semi right now, the production rate, etc., but we are getting more and more information when it comes to the performance. So Tesla Semi outperforms rivals in real-world tests. So this is a thing that took a while, but one PepsiCo Tesla traveled 1,076 miles in a single day with 3 relatively brief 750 kilowatt fast charging stints that brought the battery's charge to roughly 47%, then 89%, and then 52%. The company said 60% of the miles driven over the 18 days were with a gross vehicle weight, which includes freight, of more than over 70,000 pounds. This is near the 82,000 pound limit for zero emission semi-truck trailer combos and a weight typical of the logistics industry. Now, I'm sure you've all heard about this already during the week. I'm not going to go over the whole article here, but I'll link it down in the description below if you're interested in that. Now, the trucking industry, I want to show you a couple of stats here because it is a pretty big industry and a very important one. Now, trucking represented 80.4% of the US freight cost in 2019, totaling a gross freight revenue of just under $800 billion. Trucks moved 67.7% of ground freight between the US and Canada and 83.1% of the trade with Mexico for a total value of goods at $772 billion. Now, there's more interesting stats here, but one that you should keep in mind is the different industries that rely on trucking. Number 1, agricultural products, 82.7%, dairy, fruit, vegetables, and nuts, 92%, pharmaceuticals, 65%, lumber and wood products, 91.9%. So, if you can make the trucking industry more efficient, what will happen next? Well, usually what happens next is their cost of operation goes down, which means that they can charge less, which means that the products that we're buying from all the industries we just mentioned will be cheaper, will cause deflation in the future. Magic of technology. And yes, of course, it will take time. Not everybody is going to buy the Tesla semi-truck. They might be buying from Volvo, they might be buying from BYD or whoever makes them. But I mean, this is just a right step in the right direction. Now, before jumping into the China and Europe numbers, if you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not. We're on our way to reach 30,000 subscribers, so thank you very much for all the support. If you want to support me even further, do check out the link down in the description and in the pinned comment to get the top 10 best stocks to buy now, or go to fool.com/couchinvestor. Thank you very much. So, The weekly insured numbers, of course, were extremely bad, but hey, the first week it was just at 1,000. Now, if you compare it to 2022, you can clearly see that that week last year was also extremely low. It usually is during that first week. Then with regards to the production numbers from Shanghai in September, so of course production is down as expected because of the updates for Model 3 and Model Y, and you also can see here that inventory drops to 3 days of supply. With regards to sales numbers in September for China, those were 43,507. That's the best Q3 ever, but it is down 12% quarter over quarter. Year to date, it's still up 37% over the same period last year. And then, of course, because of the switch that they made to produce the Highland, only 2,079 Tesla Model 3s were sold in China in September. Moving on here, the CPCA reported 30,566 exports of Model 3 and Model Y from Giga Shanghai in China. And as for Tesla wholesale, that number is at 74,073, so that's China sales plus exports for the month of September. This also results in the fourth best quarter ever for Giga Shanghai. Not too bad with all those shutdowns. Then moving on to Europe, so we go first to Germany. They reported 4,216 Tesla sales and 1.9% market share for September. That's the second best third quarter, and it's down 4% quarter over quarter. Year to date, we're still up 34% over the same period last year. As for the UK, they reported 6,427 Tesla sales, 2.4% market share for September, 63% were Model Ys. This is again the best Q3 ever, and it's actually up 6% quarter over quarter. Year to date, it's also up 23% over the same period last year. Then as for France, they reported 5,557 Tesla sales in September, the fourth best month ever, and it's up 4% since last month. Year to date, it's up 151% over the same period last year. And of course, year to date, it's at 140% of last year's total. I mean, the trend here is pretty clear. Then the last couple of things here were announcement that nobody saw coming. So Tesla is now offering clear paint protection film, or PPF, in the US for $5,000 for 2023 and later Model 3 and Model Ys. So the clear wrap availables are clear gloss for $5K, clear satin for $5K as well, which basically looks like this. You can't really see much of a difference on the pictures, but they also announced this Model 3 and Model Y color paint protection film for $7,500, could also be sometimes for $8,000 if you choose, for example, the crimson red. Now, some might see this as another vertical integration to everything that Tesla is offering, and you might be extremely correct. Then the last thing here is the graph. Of course, we've not had such a great week when it comes to Tesla, but we're still around that $250 mark. 200-day moving average sits still around $230. Again, we know that Q3 is not going to be an amazing quarter for Tesla, so don't expect blowout earnings. But the question here is, how are the margins doing? What's the outlook looking like for Tesla? Are they seeing some improvements now that we're going to the new refreshed Model 3, updated Model Y as well? Do they see some improvements in the margins? Because, I mean, we've reduced the prices of the cars. What's the take rate with FSD as well? How are the margins overall? The market will be looking at that pretty closely. And then, of course, the energy side of things. How are we doing there? I think, in my opinion, we'll see some great numbers from that side as that becomes a bigger and bigger part of the business. But currently, we sit just here sandwiched between, well, just at the 20-day moving average, just under the 50-day one, and the RSI here is still pretty neutral. So that will be it for this video. Again, great news when it comes to the 4680 cells, great news when it comes to this Tesla semi-truck, but all eyes will be on the earnings call, or maybe should I say all ears will be on the earnings call. See what I did there? Anyways, do share your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.